Hello, everyone. This is Marita, one who catches lightning, with the Path of Ish podcast, Walking with Our Shadow, where we share ancient indigenous teachings of remembrance, all so we can walk and learn how to walk a path of radical self-love. As we take time to gather around again, this community circle of curiosity, courage, and play, where we leave our wisdom at the door and welcome the new. We welcome today the energy that will be holding this conversation. And that energy is Grandmother Spider. This energy of weaving the webs of life and time and existence is one that is interpreted for many people in their own way, in their own stories. And so before we dive deep with Grandmother Spider, let us approach this circle and just take a pause, do a quick check-in, and check in with your body, mind, and essence. So let us take our 3 breaths in and out through the nose, welcoming our mind into this time and place. In and out through the nose, welcoming our body into this time and place. In and out through the nose, welcoming our essence into this time and place. As we settle down and gather ourselves, we approach circle. We approach the elements and the directions of the east, the south, the west, and the north. As we come back down to the east again, and we ask this circle for permission to enter. We ask this circle and we tell it that we come in a good way, that we will come to listen and to learn, that we will come to be responsible for the energy that we bring in, that we will sit in that place of the student, and that we will listen and be open and have good boundaries. And so with that, take a moment as Circle invites you in its own time to step into this collective circle that we have around the world. And as you do, I am offering you to accept the route that this circle has, that has been set prior to the start of this conversation. Whatever your traditions or practices of rooting, if you have a practice of digging into the earth, or you yourself rooting in, I welcome you to a different way of looking at rooting. And imagine really that umbilical cord between a mother and their child. This mother being Mother Earth. And how she sends up a root to her children, to connect to them, to hold them, to nurture them. And so I invite you to accept this root, this umbilical cord from Mother Earth. And if this practice is new to you, that's fine, it's new. If you choose not to practice this way, that is fine as well. If you want to learn a little bit more about this practice, I do another episode earlier about a conversation about grounding, relearning how to ground. And so as we stay curious and playful, we humbly and courageous, of course, we humbly welcome in Grandmother Spider. Grandmother Spider is coming to have a conversation today. about untangling webs. Now, I've had several conversations with people lately, and one part of this conversation is this kind of disbelief that after they've done all of this work, that they've been in deep medicine paths or training, that there is still work to be done. And Grandmother Spider is here to teach us that that work is good work. That when you catch something, right, in your web, you are excited about it. And instead of looking at the opportunity for growth and evolution, can we instead looking at it with dread, with excitement, and see that challenges are here to nurture us? I'm not saying they're easy. I'm going through a lot of challenges myself right now. But they're coming up, and I'm realizing that I am very different in them. I am, to the best of my ability, trying to stay present with these challenges and with myself and be honest about my part in the story that makes it challenging for me. But I know that these have been issues that I've faced in the past, but yet now I have a better tool set. I have a better relationship with myself. I have greater capacity to receive and ask for help. And so, even though it seems like a familiar situation that might rise up again and again, they always have a different flavor to them. And what grace that we are allowed this pressure to re-examine, to change, to choose, to grow, to receive. If we didn't have that slight pressure, or sometimes extreme, many times we wouldn't change our way of being. We wouldn't examine that way of being. We would just go to our habits of survival. And then we wonder why our habits of survival cannot allow us to thrive. So as we take that pause to just settle that in, I want you to just check in with your mind, your body, and your essence and ask it, what is the habit of survival of my mind? What does it do? Does it speed up? Does it seek numbing? Does it retreat? Does it shut down? Does it compartmentalize? What about the habits and survival habits of our body? Maybe we put on extra weight because our body is afraid of a famine. Maybe we lose the weight. Maybe we retain water. Maybe we have illness, or maybe we have aches and pains that come from habits of survival. And then we ask the essence, what is its habit of survival? How does it show up? Does it run off away, afraid? Or does it seek to communicate with you and to partake in this everyday ask or invitation, I should say, to cohesiveness between the mind, the body, and the essence? So we examine then our habits. Our habits are that place where we can have the greatest change. I use this example in this quote, both in my circles and in including spiritual circles, teaching circles, and corporate circles when I teach. And I go back to that quote of Gandhi of your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits, right? your habits become your destiny. And I believe it's in that order. And so the closest thing to our destiny are our habits. Yet, what many people try to do is change the belief system to try to change the manifestation. And yet, belief systems are so much harder to change. It takes a lot of work. You kind of have to backwards engineer. And so, one of the first steps is to look at your habits, not just of doing, but of being. And the example Spider wants to show us is in your habit of weaving your web, right? Creating your reality, which is this web. Are you running up and down the web at all times, trying to make sure no one destroys it? Exhausting yourself because you don't want to do the work of putting it back together. But then if you continue doing that, you won't survive because that web is meant to catch in this circumstance, your dinner, your food, that which will feed you. And if you're running all around, shooing away your opportunity for growth and for food, you will never eat. And if you're running around, your web will move. And so it will be seen. And so again, you will not be able to catch your opportunity to feed, grow, change, and evolve. So just take a moment right now. And as we humbly ask Grandmother Spider, take a moment and ask Grandmother Spider or Grandfather Spider, whatever you feel comfortable with, to reveal to you your habits that keep you from catching, in this case, your food. What are your habits of running around and trying to control everything? What are your habits of actually not wanting change? What are your habits of work? Is your attempt to not have to rebuild your web actually making you more exhausted? And if we look at the web itself, this web of life, the energy of this web, the functionality of this web is to capture life, to feed it, to nurture it. Yet if you're going around avoiding the nurturance, avoiding the blueprint of what this spider web, this web is supposed to be, its function, its form in our world and in our existence, then you are not receiving from its purpose, its function, its ability, support. The support that is innately in the web, the medicine in the web. So in other words, what you're doing is you're creating something and not letting that creation exist or be its all, be all that it can be. If energy is neither destroyed, but it's just remolded, then what you are doing is you're not allowing the energy and the transference of energy to be a web being built, a web catching something, the nurturing of that web, and the rebuilding. It's all that cycle of energy, the building, the destruction, the reward, and the building again. It's just the same form in multiple expressions. Yet if you're getting in the way of this evolution of energy and form because you're not using its function, then you cannot benefit from this energy. We can definitely ignore help. I've done it myself. And then we get into that story of woe is me, that it's about you having to do everything. And so you're running around your web, trying to protect the web, yet trying to feed yourself, and you don't have enough energy for both. If you trusted the web, which is a part of the medicine that you have to create, and let the creation be its own beingness, let that medicine work for you. If you are not doing that, then you are taking on the energy of that web's purpose and existence and depleting your own. You're not letting the web do its own work. You're not letting the web experience the fullness of its function. And as I was showing you in the example earlier, if you're running around the web, they will be seen. So part of the creation of the web is the conservation of energy. And you will see that spiders aren't running around. They're standing at the center of their creation. They're trusting that the web will hold, and that if they catch anything or something breaks, then they will go out and examine. It's more of an example of working smart versus working hard. And working smart is because there is confidence in the medicine that they are spinning. And they release that medicine to be all it can be. I'm not saying that this is easy, but this is an opportunity to examine those habits that have continued to keep you in survival mode and not thriving. There is nothing wrong with survival tactics or habits. They got you here. And it's not about cutting them off, right? If your survival habits at one point were your web, they got you this far. But maybe now you're trying to create something different. You need a different web. Therefore, you need different habits. You need to change the energy, not cut it off. Change the energy of their survival habits and transform and transmute that into thriving. Well, how do you do that? It seems complicated. It seems easier to just cut it off and move on. But what I have seen is that when I've done that with myself, I abandon parts of brilliance because we are always trying many times to be the best that we can be. But as we change, grow, and evolve, that becomes different. But you work with the tools that you have in the moment. So let's just do a moment to just do a quick check-in right now in this podcast. How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling psychic intuitively? And how are you feeling spiritually? And just take that moment to reset. You can take your 3 breaths again to reset your mind, your body, and your essence. One of the things that I do is I sit with my habits. I sit with my survival habits and I say thank you. Thank you for getting me this far. Thank you, survival web, for getting me this far. How can we work together to change our destiny? And so we start working backwards, right? All the way up to beliefs. There's so many self-help books out there that's, promise you the 10 habits of successful millionaires or billionaires or 5 successful tips and hacks and things like that. And what they're just doing is you're replacing one function for another. You're cutting it off. But many times what is missing is the conversation with that part of you that developed that habit for a need to survive. And if you don't address what is beneath the surface of the creation of that habit, you will not heal it. You will not change the belief. So this is not a conversation of replacement and faking it till you make it. This is a conversation of transmutation, not destroying the energy or cutting it off, but sitting down and being honest, being thankful for how far you've gotten. And with that gratitude, you approach yourself. With that mercy, you approach yourself. You do it for others, but do you do it for yourself? And then you work with yourself, not against yourself. You radically take steps, courageous steps, to acknowledge your role in the development of your habits. And when you do that, you see the power of beliefs and of creation and of destiny. This is beyond mindset work because our habits live in our body. Our habits many times are kinesthetic. They include reaching. We have a habit of reaching out, but are we reaching out for the right thing? Reaching out for love, and where we're reaching out, where are we finding it? When we reach out, we move away from ourselves sometimes. And we reach out many times because we are trying to bring something in. There's different ways of reaching out. Some people grasp, some people flail. What is your habit of reaching? And when you reach, are you taking or are you asking to receive and be in partnership? What is your habit of reaching and receiving? Are you allowing, as you reach out, just like spider creating a web, to then go back to yourself and receive? And allow what you have called forth to come into your life in its own time and way? Or are you nervously lashing out and then not catching anything in your web and even destroying it, destroying your destiny? So today, let us just take a few moments to connect with Spider. And so as we set up this part of the circle, let's take our 3 breaths again just for reset. And let's change the habit of them. Maybe it will give you different results. And again, these are not set in stone: mind, body, essence, in that order. Many times, it depends on what needs to come in. There's diagnostics in this. So in and out through the nose. Let's welcome our body into this time and place, since we're speaking about habits and habits being in our body. In and out through the nose, and let's welcome our essence, this destiny of ours. In and out through the nose, and let's welcome in our mind. And as we do that, we ask Spider again, one by one, What are the habits of the body when it comes to reaching out and receiving? Just take a moment to receive that information as we continue to meditate. Then let's take that second breath in and out through the nose again and ask Spider, what are the habits of my essence when it comes to reaching out and receiving? And then when you have your answer, you can take that third breath again if you like, in and out through the nose, asking Spider, what are the habits of my mind when it comes to reaching out and receiving? And once you have that information, I invite you to humbly go to Spider with this information and ask it to show you how to weave a new web and stay in the middle of it. So if you imagine Spider taking you to a place and showing you the possibility of how to outstretch, reach out with this beautiful medicine of a web. See how they reach out and connect. And they keep reaching out and connecting as they build, as they build, and as they build, as they connect more and reach out more and connect more. And when that web is beautifully built and it's done, they go to the center to receive. Imagine yourself going to the center of your web to receive. Remember, reaching out and receiving. How long can you stay in that middle of yourself? And be aware of your habits of distracting yourself, of listening for distraction, of trying to get out of this. Your habits of noise and movement. All of that is energy going out. Can you detach and just come into yourself? Just keep breathing, just keep believing. Can you practice this kind of stillness? This kind of stillness is a receptive stillness. It's a stillness of getting out of your own way. And in this stillness, let's check in again. Where's your energy? How do you feel? How are you feeling? How is your mind? Your thoughts, your emotions, your body. Absence is many times abundant. We always connect with absence as lack, and then we go into a story of lack. But what if absence of movement, absence of controlling all things all the time, means you can abundantly receive and trust your medicine. As you trust, your medicine will continue to grow, to deepen, and transform from that of barely sustaining you, of survival to thriving. So with gratitude to Spider, we give thanks. We give thanks to the circle and all who have held us here, and all the teachings from all my teachers. In this time, in this lifetime, we give thanks. So slowly, slowly come out, taking your breaths in and out through the nose, thanking your mind for being in this time and place. In and out through the nose, thanking your essence for being in this time and place. In and out through the nose, thanking your body for being here. As we bow to Grandmother Spider, we bow to each other, and we bow to Circle, and we thank the East, the South, the West, and the North. And the East again, completing the circle as we step out, carrying this new wisdom, picking up the wisdom that we left at the door, and finding new magical ways to abundantly weave them together and receive. Shade. Once again, it is with deepest gratitude that I bow to you for joining me on this podcast, this episode, this circle, this plática, this meditation, this remembering. I hope that you have stayed curious. I hope to see you in the circle again next week. So make sure that you like or follow. Until then, may you be blessed with abundance of peace and radical self-love.